All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Sunday, January 19th. We got a few NBA plays coming your way in today's video. Normally, we're going through, like I always tell you guys, each and every game, giving you my prediction on the side, prediction on the total, talking about any of the player props. But when we do travel, we have an abbreviated version of the video. We call it a hybrid video or a road video. So that's what we got today. We have, technically speaking, 5 plays coming your way, but 2 of those are just different versions of one or the other. So realistically, 3 plays or 3 kind of ideas to go through in today's video with you guys. Make sure you're hitting that like button and subscribing. Really do appreciate you guys supporting me while I am on the road and the videos are a little bit different, but we've talked about that for a few days now, right? So do truly appreciate that. We're traveling back home tomorrow, but we still should have time in the morning, I believe, to get a video out. So hopefully we're not missing any days even with the travel. But in terms of how we did yesterday, we end up going, I guess, from a win-loss perspective, 1-3, which is unfortunate after a few positive nights in a row. We were vibing on vacation. Boom, we finally have a negative night. Realistically, it's like a 1-2 night because that Sixers and Pacers play was a half-unit play split into 2, which is equal to the other 2 plays. The only thing we hit was Jalen Green over 23.5 points, and quite honestly, you probably heard me in the video yesterday. That was like my least favorite out of these. Loved Devin Booker yesterday, and I even made the note there, right? I said, I guess we were right about it being a good spot for him, but we got too cute. If you watch back yesterday's video, and I don't expect you to, so I'll tell you what we said, was that I think that's a really good spot for Devin Booker, but his points line was at 27.5, 28.5, and I just felt like it was just a little bit too high, so we tried to massage those numbers and get him back down to earth via a same-game parlay, and honestly, that was just the wrong move. Right? Like I said, getting too cute. He ended up going for, 35 points against the Pistons yesterday. So, again, there's bad losses and then losses that you can brush off. At least this tells me that we kind of had a feel for it. The Sixers and Pacers, I don't really know what to make of that because they were, no pun intended with this word, pacing towards and over the entire game. And then second half of the third and fourth quarter kind of slowed down. But to be honest, I feel like that was up in the air to begin with anyway. So Devin Booker's the one I feel okay about. Pacers, Sixers, probably not the best look. Trusting those 2 teams and Paul George ends up not playing, right? And then Jalen Green, I think we just got lucky for because, again, that was my least favorite play on the board, but ended up being the only one that cashed. But nonetheless, guys, like I said, I'm not frowning too much about it because we had been on a few days in a row of in the green. These red days happen, and don't we know it? It hasn't been the best January. Finally, we started to turn it around, so hopefully we kind of keep that momentum and not yesterday's momentum heading into these plays. Before we do get into the plays, though, guys, like I said, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you do want to support even further, I'll put some merch in the merch bar here on YouTube. Go check it out, guys. Tons of great quality merch. I'm wearing the They Don't Boo Nobodies. It's got something on the back. Nobody's tea right now, but if you guys do want to pick up some of the merch, head over there. Again, it'll be right in the description as well as in the merch bar on YouTube for you guys. I think also in the bottom left of your screen if it's like popping up throughout the video today. But let's jump into it. We have 2 player props to get into, and then I have a money line and a spread pick as well. So let's start off with one of the player props here. It's going to be Damian Lillard here, over 6.5 assists. Now, this is coming from multiple directions, so I do like it. The only thing I don't like about it is he's been kind of spotty to this lately, right? There was a point in this year where Damian Lillard was just racking up assists, potentially getting 10 assists each game, you know what I mean? The thing I like about this is that they're playing the Sixers. They're at home today, which in his home games so far this year, 13 of 18 games, Damian Lillard has hit the over. He's had at least 7 assists, right? I think he's averaging nearly 8 assists at home. You flip it over to being on the road, which obviously 2 different stadiums, right? He's only gone over this line 6 times out of his 16 away games. So, yes, I do like the idea of him at home here versus on the road against the Sixers team, in which this should be a team that can defend the perimeter. Now, when I say well, I'm kind of drawing straws here, right, or grasping at straws because they're not all that great of a defensive team. But if there's one sort of saving grace of this defense, you can make an argument for them on the perimeter, which is kind of what I'm hoping for here. A spot in which Damian Lillard can't necessarily light it up from outside, right? And he's going to have to rely on one, maybe a pump fake, drive into the lane, and a dish, a lob to Giannis, a little pass off to Brook, something like that. Or he even gets into the paint, they all collapse on him, and then those sort of spot-up shots can occur, right? Maybe he's passing it out to Green or something like that. So this really does just kind of come from the idea of Damian Lillard's shooting, his default shooting zone shouldn't be the easiest spot for him. If he catches the ball today, he should have to put it on the ground and make something happen. Sure, he may still go score. We're talking about Damian frickin' Lillard here, right? He can score on any defense. But if he's not getting these catch and shoot opportunities or these pull-up opportunities, he's going to have to make more work, and I expect him to play make a little bit more here. Side note that the Sixers also, their one defensive, like I said, what they do well is the perimeter. What they've been doing poorly is in that interior, which is great. If Lillard gets in there, I think he can make a lot happen. Sure, he'll probably be able to score because this is not a one-dimensional score. So if he gets into the paint, sure, Damian Lillard probably can fill up the scoreboard today too. But how about some of these little pass-offs to Giannis or something like that where all of a sudden it's like, yeah, he gets into the paint, but he is facilitating and playmaking down there, kind of like that idea as well. So I can project Damian Lillard from like 7 to 8 assists. Do I think he's going to go out there and crush it? 9, 10 assists? Probably not. But for the minus 104 near even odds here, I don't mind him to go out there and get 7 assists. Against the Sixers lately, when I say lately, in his last few games here, dating back to last season, he's averaging 14 potential assists against them. Damian Lillard should be getting right around half of those potential assists, resulting in actual assists. That would be 7. So in my opinion, and obviously I like this play, we have a floor of 7 assists today. Why not pull the trigger on a minus 104 play there for a half unit when you think the floor is the number that'll cash, right? So Damian Lillard over 6.5 assists. I like the matchup. If the Bucks, they're 11-point favorites, 10.5-point favorites. If they start to blow them out, that's going to stink because we may not get full minutes from Dame. But hopefully in the blowout fashion, he racked up a lot of assists to even get them to that point. So hopefully that is the case. All right, next up, we'll jump into the money line and spread play. And to me, this isn't necessarily one where I'm like hooting and hollering, screaming from the rooftop, Spurs spot, Spurs spot, Spurs spot. No, but I do think this game is a hell of a lot more of a 50-50 than the line would indicate, right? So that's kind of why we're jumping on it over here. You have Miami 3.5-point favorites right now. So we did 2 different things, right? We took the Spurs money line for 0.2 and then looking at them plus 5.5, an alternate spread line for a lot more juice at 0.3. So kind of manipulating the line there. Again, the normal line is right in between that. Still don't hate that, but figured why not look at, a little bit of the plus 136 and the plus 5.5, kind of giving ourselves a tad more of a safety net. The reason I do that, guys, is because again, think about it. If they're plus 3.5 and they lose by 4, then boom, one whole play would have lost. But at least we have a little bit of the comeback with that plus 5.5, and then we kind of make up for it on the other end with the money line play. So it works in my brain. It's worked for me for years, and it happens more often than you think. Think about all the times we're like, oh, we got hooked or something like that. Hopefully this is the type of thing and strategy that can prevent that to some degree, right? But anyways, why do we like this spot? Again, it realistically started with the idea that I don't think that these odds are indicating 50-50, obviously, right? This is not a pick'em. Miami is favored, and I think this game should be fairly 50-50. Miami isn't exactly a stellar defense, and they've looked good defensively this season, but on the year they've been pretty piss poor. San Antonio over the last 10 games shooting the 7th most in the restricted area, so only 6 other teams shooting more than them. Miami in the last 10 games, 73.5% field goal percentage against in the restricted area again. So they should be able to score on this Miami team down low. You even look at it from an outside perspective. Yes, Miami is a little bit better on the perimeter, but still, this is not a team that's going to move forward with defensive identity. That is walking out the door with Jimmy Butler, and you can make sure. Yes, you could say anything you want about their other players in Spo, but when you have a team led by Tyler Hero and building around Tyler Hero, I guarantee you at some point it's going to lose some defensive identity. And the Spurs offense, while not exactly the best, they definitely can play well against teams that they match up fairly well against, right? We saw them go up against the Lakers. Weak interior defense. They put up, 126? That was a huge fourth quarter from them and whatnot, too. They even put up 115 and 112 against Memphis. Memphis, decent defense. Was another big game here. The Clippers, good interior defense. They scored 122 on. So when they have an open door down low, like I think they made tonight, I do expect them to be able to put up a good number. And again, that Lakers game is one that I'm drawing at because the Heat and the Lakers both allow a very high percentage at the rim. If the Spurs go out there and score 120 plus tonight, are the Heat really going to keep up with them? I'm not sure. So I like the Spurs here, money line, as well as the plus 5.5. I do think that obviously you can make an argument for the Heat. They're at home. They play better at home. The Spurs a little bit worse on the road. I totally get that. And both teams on the same sort of, rest period right now. The only one thing you could say, San Antonio, this is back-to-back, or not a back-to-back, first game of a road trip for them. Miami kind of in the middle of a homestand, so that's obviously a good situation, but still. again, my biggest argument here would be this should be, in this dumb brain, and it's been dumb plenty, right? Should be more of a 50-50 spot, and we're not seeing that indicated right now. So I think we have a little bit of value, at least from the EV stamp of approval side of things. All right, our last play here, and boy, this feels like the Jalen Green one yesterday, but we're rolling with it. Similar, we're splitting a half unit here. Looking for an easier line on one, and then some plus money on the other. His normal line is 21.5. For whatever reason, I could see him having a 20, 21 point game. Okay, so that's why we did this split the play strategy. I don't think this has as much applicability, if that's even a word, to the type of ending we could see, because I think about that margin, we're only talking about pretty much a 3-point shot there, as that Spurs and Heat look does, like that we pretty much are looking at 6 points difference there. That can definitely happen. This is we're really splitting hairs, quite honestly. 20 plus points, 22 plus point, like 22 and a half, you know what I mean? But still, we got him over on FanDuel, heavily juiced, 20 and a half, safety net play, and then a little bit of the plus money, a little bit over even money there for the 23. Why do we like Jordan Poole? Well, we know that he's going to like to take a lot of shots from the outside. That is his MO. That is his play type. And this is a Kings team, much like we talked about the Sixers, only I guess kind of inverse, right? This Kings team is a very good defense in the paint. From the outside, not so much here. They rank 4th worst in terms of players that like to rely on the above the break shot. And listen to some numbers here. The last 7 guys that are the same type of player as Jordan Poole in terms of their default player type, right? And this is via Props Madness. So this is they're deeming these guys similar players. And I agree with a lot of them. They're a lot of perimeter players, right? Steph Curry, he had a line of 24.5, 26. These are the last 7 that they deem the player types. I'm not picking and choosing here. It's literally the last 7. Desmond Bane, 21.5, went for 22. Desmond Bane again, prior to that, 17 went for 18. Jordan Clarkson, 15.5, went for 17. Bradley Beal, 19.5, went for 28. Tyler Hero, 19.5, 27. Clarkson, 14.5, 21. So there's a lot of guys in there that all hit their over the last 7 times they've played them. And if you want to look at Jordan Poole against teams that rank bottom 4 in terms of, I guess, the opponent defense against, right? He's had over 21.5 points 4 of 4 times this season. He's averaging 23.5, which is why we ended up pulling the trigger on that alternate line of 22.5, right? If he gets to 23, great, we get a little bit of plus hit there. But this should be a dream matchup for Jordan Poole. If he's playing in a blowout, then sure, I guess we could probably say, well, he's not getting his full opportunity. But in fact, so this spread, let's see if we can pull this up very, very quickly here. This spread is 16.5. So let's say, just for the sake of argument here, I'm going to look at Jordan Poole in losses by, and I don't know, this could even backfire on us, right? But I'm just going to be honest and tell you guys what this says. Jordan Poole in games in which they have a win-loss margin, but a loss of, we'll go 14 plus, right? Because that includes the 15s. Let's see what we got here. So on the season, this could backfire because all of a sudden I'm trying to say that he's blowout proof. I don't know if he's going to be blowout proof. All right, let's go. 14, 15 plus. He's hit the over. Okay, he's averaging 16 points per game. So hopefully that's not going to be the thing that is our killer, right? He's hit the over in 4 of his last 5, though, which is good, I guess we could say. And then what about when on the road in these blowout spots? Okay, last 2, 31, 22. So maybe it does look a little bit better the more and more you filter down. But even still, let's hope that some degree this Wizards team is in this game, because in a blowout it would have killed this spot anyways, right? But yeah, Jordan Poole, I think he's a perfect matchup for this as long as the Wizards can keep up with the Kings. That is kind of what we're relying on here. But guys, that's going to wrap it up for today's show. Again, to recap here, Dame we like his over in assists. We also like the Spurs money line plus 5.5, and we like Jordan Poole. And when I say like, a few of these I'm shaking in my boots about, right? Like this is a weird slate to me. I think if you guys look at all of the spreads, we have like multiple high spreads on today's slate. So obviously be responsible. These are just my picks. Do not sit there being like, wow, I'm looking at a crystal ball that you guys just can't see on the screen here. We're wrong plenty, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? So, guys, I do appreciate you tuning in. I do like these plays. Hopefully, we can clutch up and get back in the win column because, again, a few days in a row on vacation, we're cashing. Yesterday, a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth. Let's get it out of there and get back in the win column. We'll catch you guys in the next one, right? Peace out.